questions about GOCC reforms that we need to do. For example, as was mentioned by Secretary Purisima, reforms in NFA, in MRT, in LRT, because these are really jacking up the subsidies. And then fourth, we are tightening up lump sums that have been in the budget for some time. For some, we have placed them under the departments where they should belong so that they can be programmed, implemented, and monitored by their respective agencies. But at the same time, we've also made sure that the releases on lump sum funds are based, for example, farm-to-market roads on network plans designed by the Department of Agriculture or the DPWH. And finally, for those programs that have been doing well in the past, like CCT, we recommended expansion of the coverage, like from 800,000 to hopefully 2.3 million households by the end of 2011.
Okay, we're talking about, again, zero-based budgeting is expected to do a couple of things. It's supposed to free up resources so we can spend on priority projects like social services and things like that. And we want to do that in a way that keeps the deficit numbers, actually, that allows the deficit numbers to improve. And you've said that, you know, we're really talking about improved tax collection. You didn't talk about increasing taxes. I know it was a bit of a touchy point during the campaign, but a lot of people are saying, can we really pull this off without increasing taxes?
Well, we can only pull it off with the help of everyone. But the potential is clearly there. Tax revenue effort for the first half is around 12.8%. No? Clearly, we can do much better than that. No? Second, no? We're looking at the non-tax revenues of the government. No? In fact, I've sent requests to all the departments to review all their fees and the way they do things. No? For example, the National Telecommunications Commissions, when they grant you know, the rights to frequencies and the other things that they give telecommunications company, I've asked them to see if you know, they should auction it. You know, so that discussion is going on. The same with the Mines Bureau. When they give all these mining rights, no? Maybe they should probably auction it. So we're looking at all the potentials across the board. We're also working with the DILG. Right now, most of the local governments are very dependent on their internal revenue allotment. Some of them depend on it up to 85% of their budget. There's no reason for that because they have their own taxing power, in particular real estate taxes. So we're working with them to have standards. No? The BIR, for example, have a zonal valuation. Why not adopt the zonal valuation for real estate taxes or some standard so that they can increase the portion that real estate taxes contributes to their own budget. That way, with the same amount of money, we can get more things done. Then our liability management effort hopefully will allow us to reduce the amount of money that's allocated to interest and amortization in the budget. So that's something that we're going to aggressively do also.
Okay, but so just to clarify, we're not at the point yet where we're ready to propose increases in taxes.
No, we're not there because I think it really will be irresponsible to do so because you're just going to tax the tax sector already and make them more uncompetitive. We need to expand the tax base. No? I forgot to mention in my speech earlier, an initiative we're doing is to align the way IDs are made. No? For example, we're working with the Department of Foreign Affairs to see how the income tax ID number can be used as the passport number. I think the efforts with SSS and GSIS are already there. So that way we actually broaden the number of entities and individuals that are registered with the Bureau of Internal Revenue. And when we're confident that we've improved it enough, that's when I think we'll consider proposing certain taxes. Among the low-hanging opportunities would be sin taxes. No? There's clearly an opportunity to change that. But I don't think we'll be ready to request that for the next 12 months.
Okay, there's also been a lot of talk since the President mentioned it in his State of the Nation address of these public-private partnerships. We know that there's a BOT law in place, and that to some extent sounds very much like the public-private partnerships that the President has been talking about. Secretary Padrang, you were talking about a review of the BOT law. What does that mean exactly? And how would that relate now to the PPPs?
Well, what we intend to do by looking at that is trying to look for perhaps streamlining the process so that the processing time can be cut. The President has actually given us some target periods during which certain things will need to be done. We also will try to increase the effectiveness of PPP by starting to really work on projects that we hope will be prepared enough so that they will now then be open for inviting the private sector to participate in these kinds of activities. So one is to look at the process and try to streamline it, make it faster, making sure, of course, that the safeguards are there. But the other one is to try to prepare, to pre-process some of these so that it'll be easier for the private sector to take up this. And then they can decide where they would like to join us.
Greg Domingo, the BOT has been, early on, it was a pretty good way of getting investors to come in. Again, as Don was saying, we need to streamline some of the processes and things like that. But how important will the BOT be as far as the public-private partnership is concerned? And will the BOT have, what have been the problems that you've seen with the BOT?
Actually, the BOT is going to be transferred to Secretary Padaranga, but...
Okay, well, anybody can answer this, but I guess what I'm saying is the BOT has been sort of the framework.
Yes, yeah. Because the problem right now is the government doesn't really have the resources to tackle all the infrastructure requirements that we need. So we will have to rely really on a lot of private sector capital to go into these infrastructure projects. And to the extent that the private sector cannot undertake all of it, then I think the government, we have indicated that the government, there's a willingness for the government to participate in some of these projects.
Can anybody give me, are we at the point where we have something on the table that we can talk about, that we can share with our audience?
Well, on PPP, Ricky, our plan is to have a launch conference in October where we're going to release the final list of projects that we are going to solicit. And this will be in 3 areas. Infrastructure to support tourism, infrastructure to support the food supply chain of the country, and general infrastructure. So we've been working with the various departments so that we can come up with a comprehensive list and identify which ones are ready for launch. Second, we're also going to announce the new process. And the President, in his speech, has announced that for solicited projects, it will be approved within 6 months. For unsolicited projects, it will be approved within 9 months. And the whole cabinet is committed to make sure that that happens. Third, in that conference, we're going to also announce some of the funding initiatives that we're working on. We just came from a mini roadshow with infrastructure entities, and one thing we realize is there's a lot of money out there that's available to be invested in infrastructure. In fact, they were saying that U.S. corporates are sitting on over $1 trillion in uninvested cash because they're not sure about the future of the U.S. economy, and they're actually looking at Asia to start deploying those funds. No? Third, we're also working with the various multilateral partners so that we can create a pool of money within the Philippines that's peso, low cost, and long term. And this we will make available to infrastructure project proponents. No? We hope to, within the year, launch at least 2 to 3 of these major infrastructure projects to get the program going. But at this stage, we're still in discussions as to what these particular projects are that we're going to solicit. Of course, any entity can come with an unsolicited project, although the approval process will be longer for those.
Infrastructure, so I guess Babe Singson, Bertie Lim, and Renel Mendres over there will be very happy once they hear about these things.
Yeah, in fact, in that conference, Secretary Lim will talk about his priority tourist areas and talk about the infrastructure that he will need to make these tourist areas take off. No? Just to cite one, a McKinsey study pointed to the Palawan archipelago as potentially the Maldives of this region. And all you need really is put infrastructure. The market is there, the beauty is there. We just need to put the infrastructure and the right regulatory framework. We're in a debate right now on open sky, and I'd like to disclose that. And I think that discussion will end soon, and we'll submit a recommendation to the President.
On what?
Open sky.
Oh, okay. All right. Greg Domingo, you didn't have time during your presentation to talk about trade policy. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you wanted to say in the next maybe 4 or 5 minutes?
Sure. In terms of trade policy, what we want to do is really be engaging all parties in this regional trade agreements. Because for us not to do so puts us at a very big disadvantage. As you know, the world is breaking down the barriers, and we need to be part of this move or we'll be left out. What we need to do, though, on the DTI side, because of all these recent trade agreements that have been signed between ASEAN and the different countries like China, Australia, New Zealand, etc., and all the other trade agreements that we're part of, is we really need to launch a massive information campaign to all the businesses here, so that the business sector can be made fully aware of the benefits of what is available to them in terms of what they can export at zero tariff to different countries. I think a lot of the business sector, they're not yet familiar with all of the details of these trade agreements. So we will undertake that within the next 6 months.
Okay. Thanks very much, Secretary Domingo. We're going to go now to the next segment of this discussion.